showtime. What's up, sis?
I had the most beautiful dream. It was the perfect day. And all I could think about was how much I wanted to cut you all open and then climb inside your bodies. So that we could stay one happy family.
When I was just a little girl, I asked my mother,
What is this, Danny?
I found it.
what will I be? Will I be pretty? Will I be rich? Here's what she said to me.
Open up now.
You don't look so good, Mom.
Nothing a big old kiss from you won't fix.
I'm getting us out of here. I promise.
You'd be a good mom someday, Hannibal.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you know how to lie to kids. Mom?
Mommy's with the maggots now.
What will be, will be.
Welcome everyone to Hatchet Boys. My name's P. Rich, and Mommy's with the maggots now. Oh, I love it. So today I'm going to be discussing and reviewing Evil Dead Rise 2023, directed by Cronin. Yeah, so Evil Dead Rise is the fifth installment of the Evil Dead series. The film development was preceded by scrap plans for direct sequels to The Evil Dead 2013 and Army of Darkness 1992, and a fourth season of Ash vs. Evil Dead. By October 2019, Sam Raimi announced that a new film was in development, with Rob Tapert producing, Raimi and Bruce Campbell executive producing, and Cronin writing and directing the project. So, yeah, I'll kick off the synopsis. Basically the story goes, a reunion between two estranged sisters cut short by the rise of flesh-possessing demons called Deadites, leaving them into a primal battle for survival as they face the most nightmarish versions of the family imaginable. Yeah, so we basically open up with three friends that are vacationing at a cabin. We got Teresa, Jessica, and Jessica's boyfriend, Caleb. Jessica seems ill, and Jessica scalps Teresa's head and then decapitates Caleb. Teresa takes the drone and slices her face with it, impaling her body into the water. Caleb jumps in to help Teresa. Caleb gets pulled down, and you see like a bubbling of blood bubbling up. It looks great. I love this opening scene. I think it's one of the best in the franchise for sure. Yeah, the thing is with this film, there isn't much like character development I find in this one. Um, I mean, I wish they kind of focused more on that, but I'll get into that after. But with the characters, so yeah, and then you see Caleb's head fly out of the water and land on the dock, and then you see Jessica levitating out the lake, and then you see the title screen, and it looks awesome. Like right away when I first seen this, I was like invested in this film. Like right away, I was like, yes, this is what I'm talking about. Like this is the fifth film in the Evil Dead franchise. I mean, like why not just go about it that way? But for people that aren't aware of Evil Dead, I don't know, like what they would be thinking. But anyways, so one day earlier, upset at learning she is pregnant, guitar technician Beth visits her sister Ellie and her three kids. She has two teenagers, Danny and Bridget, and a preteen, Cassie. And so she goes to their Los Angeles apartment complex. While the children yeah, like, well, I find the building looks like the apartment building in Child's Play, the first one. I find it's got like a lot of resemblances to that. So the kids go and get food at a pizza parlor, and the name of the pizza place is called Hereda's. And if you're like aware of the Evil Dead movies, that was the name of one of the Deadites buried in the cellar in the basement, Hereda. I thought that was kind of clever. Like there's Easter eggs throughout this movie, but how Lee Cronin did it, he did it like well. It's not just all in your face, and like I find that with David Gordon Green's Halloween trilogy he made, I find he just puts it all in your face. But anyways, so an earthquake shakes the whole building, and the power goes out, and Danny and Bridget are stuck in the basement in the parking lot, and Danny recovers like a concealed chamber. He goes and investigates it, and discovering religious artifacts, 3 records from 1923, and a strange book that takes up to his room. He tries to open the book, but cuts his finger while he was trying to open it. And then the book absorbs all the blood. It's one of the books of the Necronomicon. So it's one of the 3 volumes. And that's what I like about this film too, how this is the 3rd volume of that book, the Necronomicon, the Book of the Dead. So yeah, Ash's series, all the Evil Dead movies with Ash, there's 1 volume, and then the 2013 Evil Dead, that's a different book, the 2nd volume, and then now Evil Dead Rise with the 3rd volume. I like how they did that. So anyways, Danny plays one of the records, and yeah, so the recording of a priest that is doing research on the book and recites a passage that summons demonic entities known as Deadites. The building's power fails and isolated, leaving the place isolated. And Ellie's in the elevator, and she gets attacked in the elevator and gets possessed. And what I like about this film too, it's sort of like the first one, where you see the woman in the woods and the tree branches attack her. If you know what I'm talking about, I don't want to get into all those details either, But anyways, if you've never seen any of the Evil Dead movies, I suggest you start with Evil Dead the first one. So yeah, she gets attacked in the elevator. She gets possessed, and the building's power fails, and now the building's like isolated. The staircase has collapsed. They can't reach the fire escape. So now Ellie's like in a trance, and she like starts threatening her family, and then right before she dies, well, you think she dies, she says to Beth for her to protect her children, and Ellie's neighbors help lay her to rest, like when she passes on. So yeah, they're trying to find a way out. Like I said, the staircase has collapsed, the elevator is damaged, and they're unable to access the fire escape before Ellie revives and attacks the family. This scene is awesome, man. And then they put her in the she attacks the family, but then they put her in the bathtub, and just, oh man, this is great. And I think Ellie looks like one of the best Deadites out of the whole franchise. Like, the way they made her look, it's awesome. And she's savage as fuck in this movie. Like, oh man. So she like jumps up on the ceiling like you would see like Reagan from The Exorcist do, and she does all this like freaky ass shit, and she falls back down the water, and then the camera like sees like it kind of focuses on the tub, and you see her fingers come up like sort of like in Evil Dead 1, I do believe, and you see the fingers coming out of the cellar like that. It was great. So yeah, after the bathroom scene, Beth and the kids lock Ellie outside the apartment after she pursues and massacres the neighbors. Oh, the eyeball scene, man. Oh, she like bites this guy's one of the neighbor's eye out, and it's like in her mouth, and then she spits it out. And then you see the eyeball like flying, and it goes into another guy's mouth. And yeah, that happens in Evil Dead 2 as well. But I find it reminds me more of Drag Me to Hell by Sam Raimi. That's a great movie too. It's freaky as hell, that movie. It's great. So yeah, recovering so Danny confesses to Beth about recovering the Book of the Dead and the records. I think it's called the Nature of Rom Demonto, I think it's called in this one. Anyways, and Ellie tricks Cassie into unlocking the door before attacking her, while Danny and Beth distracted rescuing Cassie and locking Ellie out. Now we see Bridget on the counter eating glass, swallowing glass, and oh man, like this visual effect of Bridget eating the glass, and you could see it going down her neck, down her throat, and it looks like it's gonna rip right out of her throat. It looks so great, man. Like, oh man, it's just such a great scene. And then Bridget, now Bridget is now possessed from her wound that she got from Ellie. Bridget attacks Beth before turning on Danny. Bridget slams a cheese grater onto his calf, and Beth, was it? Sorry, I'm just trying to remember. Oh, Bridget slams the cheese grater on Beth's leg, or on her calf, and scrapes away a hefty chunk of flesh. It's not bad, but I kind of figured they would go a lot more into that, like maybe scraping the side of her face or something like real like nasty, but it's not too bad. But it's like the thought of it, and I was like thinking to myself, like if they took like bigger chunks out with that cheese grater, it's like it would put me off of Parmesan cheese for a while for sure. But so Danny and Cassie are being attacked by Bridget. Cassie impales a broken broom handle through Bridget's head. Oh man, it's so awesome. And then Beth then listens to the third record to understand how to get rid of the deadites, but learns the only way to stop the deadites is by decapitation, dismembering every limb and burying them. And then Bridget revives and stabs Danny. Danny sets Bridget on fire. It's crazy, man. Before dying, Ellie, infiltrates the apartment using the vents. And Beth's in the bedroom listening to the record, and Ellie's in the vents, and then you see her behind her, and it's good. I liked it. I mean, it's not much of like a scare or a jump scare or anything. You know she's behind her, but anyways, it's still great, I think. Yeah, so Ellie creeps up behind Ellie. Beth gets thrown down. Ellie then realizes Beth is pregnant. Ellie attempts to rip the fetus out of her. Ugh. And yeah, but Beth and Cassie are able to they take a pair of scissors and then they fuck her up with some scissors, but Ellie fails to emotionally manipulate Cassie, who accepts that her mom is already gone. Yeah, so Cassie already knows her mom's not her mom anymore, so she's trying to help kill her, I guess, Danny and the neighbors are now possessed, leading Beth and Cassie to go in the damaged elevator. Ellie, Bridget, and Danny merge into a human centipede looking thing. I think it was fucked up. It's like a multi-limbed creature known as the Murder. And they climb up the elevator to attack Beth and Cassie. The elevator stops. It stops. And then it starts filling up with blood. And it's great. I love seeing, you see all the buttons start filling up with blood. And then from the bottom all the way to the top, it fills up with blood. And so now they're with the weight of the blood, the weight causes the elevator to plummet to the ground floor, and this is great. Also, once the elevator hits the bottom, the ground floor, and it opens up, it's like The Shining with all the blood coming out, and you see the body coming out, just like in The Shining. There's a body in that elevator that comes out, and that's what it reminded me of. And it looked great. So anyways, Beth and Cassie run to the parking lot, and the mortar, the human centipede thing, captures Cassie and attempts to behead her with a chainsaw, but Beth returns and distracts it. Well, she has a shotgun, so it's there's the chainsaw and the shotgun, in Ash in the Evil Dead 1 and 2 and Army of Darkness. He's got the chainsaw and the shotgun. So Ellie's shooting uh, like Ellie and the, I don't know, that fucked up creature thing with the shotgun, but it's not really doing anything. And Ellie's got the chainsaw and almost cuts Cassie's head off. But Beth and Cassie destroy the murder's thing body by forcing it into a wood chipper. And Ellie's decapitated head taunts Beth by saying she will be a failure of a mother. Beth kicks Ellie's head into the chipper. Oh man, it's just so awesome. And Beth and Cassie escape the building together. And then, so and then it's the next day. So it goes back to the first of the movie. So the next morning, Jessica from the opening scene goes to the parking lot to leave for her vacation, where she is attacked by unseen force. Yeah, like, and then that's how it ends. So, I mean, I could see them making another one and continuing this series on, which would be good. I mean, why not? Like, I love these movies. These movies are great. Alright, so now on to the characters. So we get Alyssa Sutherland as Ellie. I thought she was great, man. She really brought to life her role in this movie. Like I said, there really isn't a whole lot of character development in this film, which I wish they kind of focused more on that on the first. Because, like, you're just kind of throwing in like Beth and Ellie, yeah, they're sisters, and they kind of have like a little weird relationship thing going on, but they don't get too much into that. I wish they kind of focused and leaned on more of that. But anyways, yeah, Alyssa Sutherland, yeah, she's good. I know her from the TV show, the TV series Vikings. She played great in that show as well, but she was a bitch, her character in that show. But yeah, I think she's great. And I said before, like her playing the role of the Deadite and the way they made her look, it was just, oh man, it's phenomenal. I love it. And then we get Lilly Sullivan as Beth. I don't really know her. I don't know any of like the rest of the actors in this. And Morgan Davies as Danny, Gabriel Eccles as Bridget, Bruce Campbell does a voice on the record. Nell Fisher as Cassie. I thought she was great. She was a good little actress for sure. So yeah. I'd say probably the strongest was Beth and Cassie. With their on-screen chemistry was probably the strongest for sure. My favorite character would have to be Ellie. Oh man, I know she's a Deadite and everything, but like what she brought to it, man, like fuck, it was awesome. And yeah. I'd say she's my favorite character, and then Beth. Yeah, I guess that's it for the characters. For technical elements, like the camera work was great. It was shaky and choppy. It wasn't shaky or choppy or wonky, no fast cuts. I find in Evil Dead 2013, there's like, not all of it, but I find there is some fast cuts in that film. And I mean, it kind of takes me out of it, but I mean, I still like 2013 Evil Dead. I think it's a great movie. I don't think there is one bad Evil Dead movie, to be honest. Like, I like them all. The lighting was fine. utilized the lighting very well. Not too dark, not too bright. Same with the color. And the pace in this film, like the editing was fine. It didn't drag. And like I said, there wasn't like too fast cuts in this film, which I like. The music was good. Yeah, the music in some scenes were like eerie sounding. The sound effects was fine. The set design wasn't bad. Like the first scene, like I talked about, at that cabin, like, oh man, I love that. I thought that was probably, yeah, my favorite scene in this whole movie. And then when Ellie's getting possessed, like, yeah, which I like about this movie, it's like you still get that like isolated kind of claustrophobic vibe in it. You're not in the cabin in the woods in this one. Well, it starts off that way, but then it goes to this apartment building, and the way they set it up, like the staircase, the elevator, the fire escape, they couldn't use, like, so they're all stuck in this apartment building, like it just like on that floor and in that apartment. You know, I thought it was great. Like, yeah. Yeah, so yeah, in that first scene when you see Jessica like rise out of the water, like that looked great, and then you get her levitating, that looked great as well, and yeah, and then you see Evil Dead Rise, the title screen, that looked great. So the garage was dark and ominous. It looked good as well. The like chamber Danny went in when he found all the religious stuff. It looked good. It's kind of like a little creepy looking. It looked good, and I liked how they foreshadow the wood chipper in the parking lot at the first of the movie. Like they do that in all the Evil Dead movies. I find they foreshadow like the chainsaw, the shotgun, and in each film they do that. It's sort of like Jaws. How Jaws foreshadows how the shark dies in each film. So my favorite parts, yeah, is the opening scene for sure. Then the eyeball Ellie spits out, and then the cheese grater scene, and the broken glass scene when Bridget is swallowing the glass, and then the final scene, like the final finale there was great. Yeah, so this film used over 6,500 liters of blood and about like 1,717 gallons of fake blood. Yeah, as post productions, the movie relied on more practical effects than CGI. Thank God. It's like way better than fake CGI blood. I don't like that in movies. It takes me right out of it. I can't enjoy it. I always enjoy practical effects. Well, it looks the best, right? And like fake blood, not CGI fake blood. Anyways, so the overall success so far is still in theaters. So the budget estimated was over $12 million. And this gross worldwide so far was $316 million so far. Like, wow, yeah, it's doing good for sure. Yeah, and I recommend this movie. Yeah, it's great. And I recommend all the other Evil Dead movies, even Ash versus Evil Dead. I recommend that TV series. It's a great TV series just to like watch and binge watch. Like Hannibal. Sorry, not Cannibal, but Hannibal. Yeah, that was another great one. I always like Dexter too, but yeah, Ash versus Evil Dead. Oh, it's such a great show, man. Anyways, Yeah, so that's my review for Evil Dead Rise. And thanks for watching. Bye, everyone. Oh, yeah, I forgot to give my rating. Oh, shit. Alright, so I give this movie an 8 out of 10. Alright, so thanks for watching, everybody. Alright, bye.